All right, let's get started. Hi there, everyone. I am so excited you are joining for this workshop today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to gather here. So the time we have together over the next kind of 50, 60 minutes is going to be memorable. Today we are going to talk about a really important and critical aspect in our lives, that of caregiving and helping and supporting our aging parents and navigating the world of elder care and the role transition that we experience that comes with all of that as well. And my goal always when I put on a workshop like this is to make sure that it's both inspirational and energetic, but also thought provoking and leaves you with concrete knowledge and takeaways so that you have some powerful next steps for those of you who are ready and excited to take them. Okay? So, welcome. If you are new to my world, my name is Kathleen Korpela. I am an elder care expert and community builder for women that are supporting aging parents. And I focus on professionals, women, like I just said, and the sandwich generation, women who are supporting an aging parent and raising kids at the same time. And I am all about supporting them when it comes to navigating the elder care phase of their life. So, in the time that we have together today, we are going to be covering the 4-step framework that women use to confidently step into caring for and supporting an aging parent. And this is the framework and approach even if you don't know where to start or what to do when it comes to supporting your parent. And I mean it when I say that this is a framework and an approach that really does bring forth a powerful transformation for women who need it, who want it, who are looking for it. A transformation from overwhelmed or uncertain or frustrated to empowered and more confident and knowledgeable, right? Feeling like this area of your life, whatever dynamics you're experiencing here are more under your control. Okay. So I would love to just get to know who is on. So if you wouldn't mind in the chat, go ahead and please introduce yourself. You can share your name. Where are you joining from? And also share, kind of where you are at in terms of what your personal caregiving situation is. So maybe, who in your life, who in your family are you helping and supporting? And maybe what stage of kind of elder care you're at or they're at. Maybe, you're not quite there yet. Maybe you have a parent that's fairly independent. Maybe you are in some of the earlier stages, I like to say, where you're maybe helping your parent coordinate administrative or logistical things, helping to kind of support them maybe in other ways. Or maybe you're in the thick of it. Maybe you have a parent that has Parkinson or dementia or cancer or some other health related issues and challenges going on, and you've been supporting them for some time. Or maybe you are someone who is much further along and have a parent that is near toward their end of life, and that's really been what is top of mind for you, is understanding and preparing for end of life. So I would love it if you could share in the chat, just so I can get a sense of who is joining us today. Welcome. Fun. I love it. I love it. It's great. Okay, and while you guys are doing that, I am going to introduce myself a little bit more. So, like I said, I'm Kathleen. I am the founder of Living Golden Well, and I am an expert in elder care. Like I said, I focus on creating community and support for women. I focus on professionals, sandwich generation, and mostly women in my community are in the kind of earlier or mid stages of supporting parents. I am a working mom. I have a daughter who is 12 and a half and a son who is 8 and a half. And I am all about creating authentic and welcoming support communities and learning programs for women. And I facilitate a membership community, like I said, for women. It's called Caregiving From The Middle, and I'm going to be sharing more about that a little bit later in this session. And I also do keynote speaking and workshops on topics of elder care and balancing career and elder caregiving responsibilities and advocating for yourself in the workplace as a professional with elder care responsibilities. Just a little bit kind of about my personal story. So I was a sandwich generation family caregiver for my father for several years. And so I have experienced the role reversal that comes when you start supporting an aging parent. And I've also experienced the journey of dementia. Like I said, my father had Alzheimer's dementia. And so I have, lived a complete caregiving journey, like I like to say, from diagnosis to death. And my father passed away last year in 2024. And, for me, I felt so passionately about bringing all of my past professional working experience and my personal caregiving journey experience together in the name of helping women that I left my successful corporate career in business and technology to make this leap into entrepreneurship and begin serving women struggling with their own elder caregiving journeys and situations. And, my personal experience really showed me that there is a dire lack of structured support, information, and resources for women who are caring for aging parents. And that is what has repeatedly compelled me forward and given me the conviction that there is a huge gap in comprehensive educational, community, and support based resources for people stepping into elder care and stepping increasingly into supporting aging parents in our world today. And I really do believe that even in the midst of the challenges of caring for and supporting an aging parent, we ourselves can lead meaningful and fulfilling lives that meet our own needs and also help our parent have the best quality of life as they age and decline. And that is possible when women invest in knowledge and when they proactively plan and when they seek out support for that. But then there is always the question of, how do you prepare for something so emotionally and logistically complex as navigating elder care and supporting aging parents? And that really does take knowledge, it takes know-how, it takes support. And my passion lies in helping guide women and their families in kind of charting that path and creating their roadmap for elder care so that they're more prepared and so that they have clarity, they have confidence, they have a game plan. Okay, so what we are covering today, like I said, is I'm going to be walking you through the exact step-by-step framework women are using to confidently step into supporting an aging parent. And again, this is a framework and an approach that even if you don't know where to start or what to do when it comes to supporting aging parents, you're going to learn what women who are thriving while being new to elder care and supporting a loved one have done and are doing to transform and transition their lives from one of uncertainty and overwhelm to one of thriving. So, we're going to spend some time here and really take a look and dig into this, okay? And my intention is that this workshop become a first step for you. Inside my Caregiving from the Middle community, there is programming, resources, expert contributors, and a comprehensive on-demand learning curriculum that provides support, structure, empowerment, accountability, connection with other women, that is all specifically designed to carry women through the transformation that I talked about and that I'm going to keep talking about throughout this session, okay? And what I'm talking about here today is really just the start. It's giving you a peek at the method that is helping women navigate in this area of their lives with more confidence because they have knowledge, right? They have know-how, they have tools, they have a plan developed. And this workshop is designed not only to teach and provide value, but to help you decide if you are ready to do something about this in this area of your lives, and really to do something then more than just passively think about it, to really take the next step, to really claim what you are perhaps being called forward towards in this area of your life. And so I really do hope that, whether this workshop is the extent of our time together, or whether you decide that this is the start of a beautiful and fruitful partnership, I am so ready and excited to support you. Okay? So where I want to transition us to is a bit of foundational ground setting, because so much of where this starts is with evaluating yourself and your current situation. And it's important to be in tune with yourself and to honestly evaluate where you are really at with all of this. And so as I go through these, I want you to ask yourself, to what degree do you identify with these? To what degree are you struggling with any of these? Okay. So, number one, feeling overwhelmed caring for your parent while raising children and managing your career, and also unsure what to do about it. This is actually extremely common, but you might not know that, right? Feeling uncertain, feeling stuck, trapped, and just not knowing what to do about it can be an almost universal experience for people that are in this phase and starting to go through things. So, how about this one? Feeling unprepared for supporting your parent. And on top of that, lacking the education, knowledge, information on critically important aging and elder care areas. It's like maybe you're someone who knows things are coming. It's kind of on the lurking on the periphery of your life day to day, or perhaps you've maybe seen some signs or some situations that make you question things, but maybe you're in denial because this is signaling a new thing in your life, potentially a new responsibility that you feel an obligation towards, that you're not ready for, right? And maybe this lack of knowledge and information naturally plays into your feelings of unpreparedness or fear or overwhelm, because when you don't know, right? How to support aging parents, deal with aging parents, navigate senior care systems. And when we're unprepared and we don't know, it can hurt you or your parent financially, emotionally, right? In very painful ways when we don't know what to do, or we don't have the information, or we're not prepared. Okay, how about this one? You're struggling with finding time for yourself and your needs on top of handling the myriad of demands on your time. And the more elder care tasks you take on, the more things you start to maybe help your parent with, you feel that any time for yourself is slipping away. You sense or know full well you're lacking in the knowledge, tactics, strategies other women are using, other family caregivers are using day in and day out to prioritize their own well being while supporting others, being in a caregiving role, and continuing to manage their careers and advance in them. Does that sound like you at all? Anybody resonate with that one? How about this one? You feel alone in your caregiving experience, like no one truly understands and can relate to what you're going through, right? Is that anyone here today? How about this one? Maybe you've been in some capacity for a bit of time handling certain tasks for your parents, supporting them, and you've noticed your parents' care needs are increasing, their need for help and assistance in any way. And or maybe you are with a personal or a family situation where your family has recently received a life-altering diagnosis for your loved one, like dementia or Parkinson's or cancer or something else. And deep inside, you and everyone in your family, right? You know, your parent knows, your siblings know, the family needs a plan and clarity on next steps. But perhaps you're in a state where you don't know how to broach these conversation topics with your parent, or you don't even know what next steps there might be to kind of start to get clarity and a plan in this area of your life, right? So again, ask yourself if, any of these resonate with you. Some of them, all of them, or maybe just type in the chat here, which one do you personally most relate to? I'd love to just hear from the group. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I I think it is so important for people who work in this space or advocates like myself to bring awareness to what's already happening all around us, whether or not we're in the midst of caring for parents and supporting them, or it's lurking in the corners of our lives. And so I want to just read through some of these eye-opening facts and statistics. There are about 63 million US adults providing unpaid care to a loved one today. And by 2030, I mean, that's 5 years, right? 4.5 years, 4 years almost. The number of aging adults needing care will actually outnumber the availability of family caregivers. And women carry the weight of caregiving. 61% of family caregivers are women, and 70% in the sandwich generation. And more often, they report higher emotional stress and difficulty balancing competing responsibilities compared to men in similar roles. And most caregivers feel unprepared and unsupported. That third bullet point is a really startling statistic based on research that's been conducted in 2025 on the state of family caregivers in the United States. Nearly half, 47% of caregivers, receive no formal resources, and 65% haven't participated in support groups or educational programs, despite 88% saying they need more help. 88%. That's a startling gap there. I will say I have these sort of screenshots of, Taylor Swift and Bradley Cooper and Chris Hemsworth and Bruce Willis's wife, Emma Willis. Bruce Willis has frontal temporal dementia. I'm really grateful that celebrities are beginning more and more to speak out about their caregiving experiences and calling attention to the education, the preparedness, and support that adult children stepping into elder care need across the board. And so I am, all about bringing greater awareness and attention to, like I said, what's really actually happening all around us. And I will say, even if you don't identify as a caregiver, you are considered a caregiver if you handle any tasks on behalf of your parent, even logistical and administrative tasks. You could be coordinating care, you could be a care partner. Caregiving is really an umbrella term that encompasses any type of care or support that you might provide to a parent. Okay, so the real problem, the real challenge, the real thing that I would say getting in your way underneath all of this is that you haven't made the shifts, okay? And once you make them, you're going to know the what, the when, the how on having the conversation or conversations with your parent on critical topics and decisions related to their future, care, safety, well-being, support in a way that, they hear you and you hear them in a way that is loving, clear, kind, and also influential for them. Right? I know that change is hard and truths are hard to face, but imagine being able to do that, to have conversations, productive ones, right? To have the skills and the tools to do that. Imagine the peace of mind and relief that you and your parent and your family could feel, right, through productive dialogue and conversations on this. Once you make these shifts that we're going to be talking about, your worries and anxieties will dissipate. They'll be a thing of the past because you're going to be living with more ease and more peace of mind because you have plans in place for your parent that are aligned with your parent and your family, right? And you're making it a priority for yourself to learn and educate yourself on topics and areas critical to caregiving and planning and coordinating aging, decline, and end of life. That's very powerful. Imagine having a clearer picture of your parents' future, right? And one that takes into consideration the entire family's wants and needs and desires. You're going to have time back. Yes, time back. And that time will be more under your control to focus on the things that are most important to you, right? Imagine that, because time is such a precious commodity for all of us. And you're going to be grateful, right? Not regretful, not unsure, not uncertain or overwhelmed or scared, right? You don't want to feel regretful or feeling regretful about your parents' aging, decline, their circumstances, when what you really want is to feel grateful about the time that you do have remaining with your parents or your in-laws or your relatives, right, while they're still living, and while they're still around. Okay. I really do believe that in order for a woman to thrive with the level of clarity, confidence, calm, and fulfillment that they deeply desire in their lives as they step into this new world, this new responsibility, of helping their parents and adding this new identity to their lives, they need to have an understanding of the bigger picture. So what do I mean by having an understanding of the bigger picture? The world of elder care is complex, and the options and paths for caring for and supporting our loved ones that are aging and declining is evolving. And if you don't, know what it means to be a caregiver, the different types of caregiving and support, the landscape of living and housing and care options out there and available, or if you're unsure what estate planning documents your loved one or family should have in place, or whether it's even the right time to have those documents in place, if you don't know or understand the bigger picture of what it means for your parent to step into their later stages, last stages of life, and the help, the care, the support they're going to need, and what may be required of you and your family to support them and yourselves on that path and that journey, right? Then how can you and your family make the most informed plan and decisions, right? Around what to do about mom and dad, or with mom and dad, or what to eventually do, right, about mom or dad in the future. No one, I promise you, no one wants to find themselves reacting to a crisis or an emergency situation regarding their parent, right? Because they were in denial, or their parent was in denial, or they were just simply lacking the information on the signs and how to know it was time to make changes in the life and care of their loved one, right? And questions about when you're, stepping into a new role and a new world that you don't know anything about, or maybe what you do know is outdated or flat out not true or correct. There's a lot of overwhelming and conflicting information out there. How do you make sense of that in a way that is meaningful for you, meaningful for your family, the one that you are supporting, right? And I think that being able to take action on information and knowing what the right plan and path is for your parent, maybe now in the near term or in the longer term, is critically important, right? Because the truth is, you want to do right by your parent, right? But you also need to put your life first and the needs of yourself or your kids or your spouse or your partner. It's really a lot. And so I want you to really ask yourself, right? Where are you going to create the time and space to step back and get the support and information you need to understand this bigger picture and make sense of what's going on or what will be going on or what could be going on, and really think and plan thoughtfully regarding your loved one, while also getting better at or relearning or learning, right, how to care for yourself during this very incredibly dense chapter in your life, right? Where, when, how, right? Where are you going to do that? It's a big question. Okay, I want to kind of with that ground setting, I want to transition us to talking about the four shifts and gaining an understanding of this bigger picture through this four shifts framework. Okay, so let me walk through these one by one. Shift number one is about putting yourself first. Okay, the truth is that when you have caregiving responsibilities increasingly growing on your plate, and when you don't put yourself first, despite that, you find yourself increasingly tipping into overwhelm and at high risk of burnout. If you're not already there, some of you are probably already there, right? And when you don't put yourself first, you step into a place of loneliness and you suffer, right? Your physical health suffers, your mental health suffers, the relationships with your kids or your spouse, all of those around you suffer, right? And grappling with how to put yourself first is a top challenge for women in your situation. And when you're, dealing with parenting your parent, it's overwhelming and it feels lonely, like you're the only one going through it. Putting yourself first in this context, right, is about having the energy to sustain and thrive in all aspects of your life and in all the role identities that you fill, right? It's about having and acting on higher guiding beliefs and principles and having proven strategies and tactics, right, to be able to do all of this. It's also about having a safe, welcoming, supportive community of women going through the same or similar things that you are, right? Where you can share your story and your experiences, hear and learn from others, exchange tips, right? It's about knowing and feeling you're not alone and also learning from each other too. Shift number two that women are making is identifying and removing their hurdles, including your inner critic. Hurdles occur across four areas. There's material, mental, emotional, and soulful. And not all hurdles are real, right? Some are in our head, but the felt effects of them are very real. You feel them physically, you feel them emotionally, you feel them practically, right? Narratives, inner narratives like, I know my self-care is important, but I don't have time to prioritize it. Or I love my mom and my dad, but I don't have knowledge on fill in the blank topic on senior care. There's so much to know. It's also complicated and complex. I don't have information to make a decision or know what to talk about with mom or dad or know what next steps to take. I don't know where to find that safe, understanding community that gets me, right? Your inner critic is bringing you down, making things harder than they need to be for you, making you doubt yourself, right? Making you feel stuck, lost, hopeless, fearful, overwhelmed, guilty, fragmented, Name your, hard emotion, right? And it's getting in the way of you showing up in your life how you want to, generally speaking, right? And in the way of you knowing how to be a thoughtful, informed, calmed, prepared, knowledgeable adult child, right? An informed advocate for your parent in this area. When you tame your inner critic, right, you're going to feel lighter with greater peace of mind and more energy to tackle your day. You're going to feel more grounded to show up in the areas of your life how you want to, right? You're going to be better able to tackle a top mistake that is made by a family members, which is not knowing the signs, not knowing signs of aging or decline, or when a parent might need more help, right? Is it time to have that conversation? Or indicators that a change might be needed in whatever situation your parents are in right now, their living situation, healthcare, support, community, right? So ask yourself, do you know the signs, right? Would you know what to do if you did, right? Because when you work on taming that inner critic, you will. Okay, I want to just take a quick, brief pause here to reflect on the first two shifts that we talked about. We talked about putting ourselves first and taming our inner critic. And I want you to reflect on the questions here and take a moment and write them down if you're, taking notes on a notepad, or on your computer, or just take a moment to really reflect on these for yourself. The questions are on putting ourselves first. What's really getting in your way of putting yourself first? What's really getting in your way? And then on inner critic, we discussed how it can create hurdles that aren't actually real, but feel very real to us. So, my question is, if you could silence one persistent voice of doubt or maybe guilt related to your personal situation, what would it be? What would that be? So, just take a moment here. I'll give it just kind of a brief minute for you to really reflect on this, and jot some answers down. Okay. If you're still writing or still thinking, keep going. I'm going to keep us moving here and talk about shift number three that women are making. And I call it mastering the unspoken advantage. There is peace in a plan, okay? We cannot control what happens to our parents as they age and begin to decline, but we can control how we respond to it and how prepared we are for it. And again, a top mistake that I see women making, family caregivers making, families making is not being prepared and not having a plan, right? So again, ask yourself, is this something that I'm ready for? Is my parents ready? Is my family ready, right? Do I know what's coming next? What would I or my family do if something happened to mom or dad or in-laws today, tomorrow? Because that happens all the time, right? People will get an emergency phone call that forever shifts the trajectory of their lives and their families' lives. So here's the truth about this, right? Many professional service providers and healthcare providers who deal with the elderly and their families, or experts and educators like myself who support family caregivers, have seen the painful negative emotional and financial consequences to families who really come to a crisis point due to lack of planning or avoidance or of being in denial for far too long. And the unspoken truth is that, creating an elder care plan, a comprehensive elder care plan, can help prevent rash decision making and disagreements. And even though a plan is something that might need to be amended as the situation changes, it will always provide a baseline for revision and be a useful tool for making necessary adjustments as things progress, your family moves on, moves along, your parent, continues to decline in the future. And let's be honest, who doesn't want that peace of mind, right? Because imagine how you and your family would feel if you were more prepared, more informed, much more empowered, right? And although this is a subject that most people are reluctant to bring up with their parents because it's uncomfortable and emotionally challenging, frank and open discussions about the family's capacity to care for an elderly loved one can help family caregivers and the person that's receiving that care, right, when a time comes for changes in their situation or in their care, right? And here is another truth, right? The opportunity is out there for you to gain clarity and knowledge so that you can put a plan in place, right? And having that clarity and a plan in place is a critical component of what will enable you to find greater balance and thrive in all the other areas of your life that matter to you. And of course, this is absolutely, right, what you want. Okay, shift number 4 is about investing in community and guidance, right? Every adult child that has a parent should focus on investing and finding now community and guidance to support them, right? The women who are investing in this are gaining real results for themselves and for their families. They're gaining better balance in their lives. They're gaining education, information, insights on critical and complex elder care topics. And they're feeling significantly less alone, right, in what they are going through. It's very, very powerful. Okay, so I know we've covered a lot today. To recap, I promised to walk you through, right, what women who are supporting aging loved ones or close to getting there are doing or have done to transform and transition their lives from one of uncertainty and overwhelm to one of thriving. So, what you need for that, we talked about putting yourself first. We talked about identifying and removing your hurdles, right, including your inner critic, that inner narrative, and that mindset. Mastering the unspoken advantage, the power of having a plan in place and beginning to get one in place, and investing in community and guidance to help support you in all of this as well. This framework, these 4 shifts alone are enough to propel you towards a greater life for yourself and one that extends to those you love and the one that you're caring for and supporting, right? It's about a greater way of living and existing through all of the roles that you play in your life and all of your identities. And as you begin to take on that additional role and responsibility of parenting your parent, right? Supporting your parent. That's what all of this is about. Okay, I want to pause here once again and reflect on shifts number 3 and shifts number 4 that we talked about, which were really around readiness and preparedness. Okay, so my question that I want you to reflect on and jot down your answers if you're taking notes or just take a really moment to really go inside deep in yourself and really think about this is if you're honest with yourself, what are you avoiding or denying about your parents' current or future care needs? Are you ready for stepping in to help your parents? Is your parent ready? Is your family ready? How ready do you feel? Take a moment here. Okay. If you are still thinking or still reflecting on this, I know these are big questions, or you're still writing, please take your time, keep doing that. I'm gonna keep moving us along here and transition us to um, taking a moment to think about everything that I've covered and emphasizing that you have choice, you have agency in all of this, right? This is your moment. This is your future. This is your life, right? And what I do is all in service of women who are new to helping parents or getting close to that stage. And I am facilitating and building an amazing online member community that is specifically for women just like you. And I want to introduce it to you and extend you an invitation to come and join Living Golden Well's community for women supporting aging parents. Okay. So I want to take some time here and share about the amazing community that's called Caregiving from the Middle. It is a first of its kind membership based community that is completely dedicated to helping women find connection with other women that are supporting aging parents and more confidently navigate in your elder care phase of life. And what we are building here is something truly special, something truly unique, right? It's a high quality experience that's connecting women through live virtual support groups, curated gatherings, educational curriculum, contributing experts, a learning library, and a private online community forum. Okay, I want you to really think of it as kind of, two overarching things: connection with other women who get it. It's that place to find that where this is being talked about, aging parent care, and the guidebook on navigating the elder care phase of your life, right? Creating that roadmap, that plan, understanding the bigger picture, having that place and that space to go to that can help you do that and meet you where you're at. Okay. And the community is a recurring 3-month membership so that you have the flexibility to be part of this community for as long or as little as you want. And that flexibility and access to the community and resources and support when you need it, right, on your terms is important because everyone's situation is different in terms of, how long they've maybe been in their elder care phase, how long they've been supporting aging parents, dealing with aging parents. It's a life phase that can be short or it can be very, very long, right? And over time in this community, and as it works for you, you can do things like work on developing a comprehensive, actionable elder care plan that's tailored to your parents' needs and your family's situations. It encompasses a number of different components in a plan and in senior care. You can gain the knowledge and confidence to navigate healthcare systems, care options, advanced planning, difficult and tricky conversations, right? You can gain the skills to handle tricky family dynamics when it comes to coordinating care. That is a big one, right? Dealing with siblings, navigating lots of different complex family situations and conversations and needs there. You can get access to proven frameworks for managing your time, your energy, your emotional well-being while in this role. And you can build relationships, right, with a supportive and authentic community of successful women, right, who understand the unique pressures of balancing career and elder care responsibilities, probably with other responsibilities as well. And you can also feel less isolated, right? Like you can have a space and a place to come to, again, where talking about aging parent care is normalized, right? Everyone is going through it. And so for women who are really needing and seeking this type of support and are, really kind of putting into it, right, what they want to get out of it, cover tremendous ground in a way that meets them where they're at, right? whether depending on where they are in supporting their parents, the knowledge that they have, or maybe the type of support that they need, or the time constraints that they are dealing with, so that they can transform, right? That I've been talking about, this transformation from feeling overwhelmed or reactive or unsure, right, to being much more thoughtful, strategic, proactive, to feeling grounded, right? And developing a plan or gaining knowledge that honors their parents' needs or their family's needs with their own needs, while at the same time developing relationships and gaining a network of women that are on similar journeys. It's very, very powerful. So just briefly, I want to talk about the learning curriculum that's within the community. I'm not going to go through all of this in detail, but at a very high level, there is essentially two curriculum pillars that are available to community members on learning. One is called Caring for Another. So that's education and tools for navigating the world of elder care, advanced planning, senior care services. And this is sort of underneath this learning curriculum is where you can work on different components of an elder care plan and developing a roadmap there. And then the other curriculum pillar is called Caring for Yourself. It's education, tools, frameworks to better care for yourself and thrive during this challenging phase of life. And the curriculum in here and the topics that we cover and what's on the slide here is really just a sampling. It's much more comprehensive than that, but it is specific to challenges faced by women who are professionals, working mothers, and family caregivers. And so, in all, the learning curriculum is very comprehensive and it's about giving you access so that you can gain information, you can gain guidance in a structured way as well for the learning or the education that you might need to help support you or your family. Okay. So, again, this is a community and an opportunity for women who feel unprepared for navigating elder care and supporting aging parents. They need clarity and a game plan around things like maybe financial planning for long-term care, estate planning, other aspects of long-term care planning. It's for women who want to feel less alone. It's for women who value a community member approach that provides support, practical strategies, tools, peer learning in addition to in addition to expert guidance and structure. And it's also for women who value, tools and approaches to better navigate and cope with really hard emotional experiences like guilt, resentment, and grief, right? This is really who this community is intended for. Okay, so I know I have covered a lot in our time together. We are close to wrapping. And so for those of you that have felt really impacted by what I have covered here today, felt moved or touched, it's really resonated with you, I want you to know that going forward from here, you have some powerful next steps and sort of three options. The first one is I invite you to join us inside this community, Caregiving from the Middle. And I included the QR code where you can learn more and join us and register and come inside and see what this community is all about. The second option is to schedule a chat with me. If you have questions or if this resonated with you, but you want to talk about maybe your personal situation, or maybe learn a little bit more to see if whether this community has the right kind of resources and support with you, I would encourage you to schedule some time to chat with me. I'd love to meet you and learn about your situation. And then thirdly, if you are not sure yet, or I've maybe brought up some good things that maybe you haven't really had time to kind of process or digest or really think about with your family, another free resource on number 3 that I make available to you is a free checklist. It's an aging parent care assessment. You can download that for free and take that and use that. If you are unsure whether this is something that you need to start paying more attention to, or whether you're unsure as to where maybe your parents are at as well. So it's a super helpful resource guide that I make available for free. At least check it out and download it and use it. Okay, I want to, as we wrap here, I want to give you an envisioning exercise to move forward with, okay? I want you to take a moment here and close your eyes and imagine that it is 3 or 6 or maybe 12 months from now, and you have successfully made the 4 shifts that we have talked about and covered today, right? You're putting yourself first, you've tamed your inner critic, you have a clear plan in place around your family, right? Your loved one, and you've invested in community and guidance and support. What does a typical day look like in your life? How are you showing up differently for yourself, your family, your parents, your career, your kids? And what does that mean for you? What does that really mean for you? Okay, I want you to do this envisioning exercise. Really think about and reflect on that. So to wrap, I want to leave you with some final words, okay? 3 things I want you to take away and remember from all of this. Number 1, you are not alone, okay? You're not alone in what you are going through or experiencing. There are women out there just like yourself going through the same experiences and challenges, okay? And the place to find them, the place where this is being discussed and talked about, the place to connect with them is inside the Caregiving from the Middle community. Secondly, you do not have to struggle or stay stuck. There is a different and a better way forward. You can learn new things and show up equipped to navigate through this next phase and experience in your life, right? Even beyond managing and navigating through elder care, right? Finding joy, purpose, and meaning, deeper meaning, right? In your parents, your loved ones' last stages and phases of life, right? That's also what we cover and equip you for in this community. And then third is trusting in the model that brings together community and learning and is designed to meet you where you're at when you need guidance and resources and support. Okay? All right, I want to conclude and leave it there. With the time we have left, I'm going to stop the recording, but we will open it up for maybe 1 or 2 questions. And so either type your question in the chat or come off of mute, and hopefully we can tackle some of those. And for those of you who have to drop, thank you so much. I hope that you will join us inside the community, or at least schedule some time to meet and chat with me, or at least check out the free checklist, the Aging Parent Care Assessment checklist I make available for you. Okay? Okay. Thanks so much. I'll stop the recording and we can take it to questions.